It's Friday, November 2nd, and these are our top stories.
The Women in STEM Conference invited all to discuss the issues of underrepresentation in the workforce.
And a little piece of Mexico makes its way down to the area campus. We'll show you how students take part in this celebration when we come back.
This new game featuring outlaws, gunslingers, and cowboys is giving people to Vegas.
And we'll tell you where the men's soccer team stands in the RMAC tournament. The May Report starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the May Report. My name is Jhovani Carrillo.
And I'm Alina H.
On October 29th, the Disability and Employment Panel welcomed students with disabilities and to find, apply, and obtain employment. The Disability and Employment Panel taught students with disabilities and students in majoring career fields like human services, social work, and psychology with finding employment, applying for jobs, and conducting interviews. If you missed the event, don't worry. The Access Center and the Career Service Office is available to all job seekers here at MSU Denver.
I think the biggest challenge that people with disabilities face is the actual interview process. So anything that they can do to practice or set themselves up for success for that interview process, I would highly recommend, in addition to just getting as much experience as they can to help them build up their resume, whether that be volunteering or interning.
Women are always changing the world, and last Friday was no different as the 3rd annual Women in STEM Conference was held at the Tivoli. Join me as I discover the hurdles both women and men might face in the world of STEM.
The STEM field encompasses the subjects of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's old news that women are underrepresented in these fields, but why?
I mean, this year's focus is implicit bias, and implicit bias is just sort of our unconscious bias that we may not even recognize that we have, which is a really common one. That one by no means is limited to the STEM fields. I mean, that's pretty across the board, and it's not limited to women either.
The Women in STEM Conference aims to address just that.
It is essentially a conference to try and address some of the hurdles that women typically face when trying to pursue careers or studies in STEM. It's partially that, partially networking, but just an opportunity. It's supposed to be a safe space for them to address issues and sort of find other colleagues and other friends that have gone through the same things and just sort of show them that they are not alone in some of the things that they've experienced in their life.
Open to all students, faculty, and staff, the conference was held from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m., with the theme this year being implicit bias. Participants were able to dive even deeper into the issues during the 2 workshops held at the conference throughout the day.
Women with STEM degrees are less likely than their male counterparts to have an occupation in the STEM field. Workshops like these are important so that women and men can understand the issues, such as today's theme of implicit bias and how it might affect their own futures.
It really brings out the problems and solutions to the problems, and it's a good thing.
If you missed the conference this year, never fear, as it is held at the Turn Hall every October, another event to keep your eye on next fall. Alina H with the Met Report.
So do you guys think you'll be attending the conference next fall?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be more inclined to go to if there would be free food.
Well, there is free food, and it's open to women and men.
Well, then I'll be right there.
Me too.
Awesome.
Speaking of STEM, what's going on with the weather this week, Nathaniel?
Yeah, so big changes are coming into our Friday and Saturday. Let's take a look over here. As you guys can see, clear skies throughout the state. Not much to see in the way of any rain or snow. That's going to be changing, though, tonight. Current temperatures, though, we're going to be sitting at 62. We're going to have a west-northwest wind at 13 miles per hour, so nothing too bad in the way of temperatures out there. High today, 65, partly cloudy. You'll feel that wind coming out of the west-northwest at 18 miles per hour, so nothing too bad. We'll walk you through the next few hours here. 4 p.m., 63, 8 p.m., 52. Yeah, not too bad out there at all. Tonight, we're going to drop it down to 39, partly cloudy. We'll have that southwest wind at 50 miles per hour. Big stories that are coming up here. Rain and snow are in the forecast. We'll discuss that further in our 7-day and, of course, our photo of the week. But I'm going to toss it back to Elena and Gio at the desk.
Thank you, Nathaniel. And in more news, MSU Denver students will now have the opportunity to access the New York Times. This is due to an initiative created by SGA President Justin Darnell, who proposed the idea to lower the cost for all students. Currently, students with the newspaper subscriptions are paying a total of $52 for a yearly membership. Also, any students with current subscriptions can get a refund for any unused portions of their memberships. For more information on how to subscribe, go to nytimesaccess.com/MSU Denver.
If you weren't afraid of the Tivoli, well, you should be. The Auraria campus hosted Terror at the Tivoli this Wednesday in the spirit of Halloween. The event was open to the Auraria community and was a great scare for those who attended. The frights began with the zombie run, which took place in the Tivoli Quad. Afterwards, if you were hungry after being chased by zombies, there was a breakfast in the turn hall where you could go paint pumpkins and watch a scary movie with friends. Later on that night, for those in for the fright, haunted tours took place throughout the day, telling haunted tales of the Tivoli and its history.
The Day of the Dead celebration happened on campus this week on Thursday, November 1st, and we got a closer look on how things went. At the Day of the Dead celebration, there were spoken word, altars, face painting, dance, and song. This event was to honor all of those who have passed away, as well as to honor the lives of the immigrants. We asked students what they thought about the event and the importance of celebrating the Day of the Dead.
So Dia de los Muertos to me is a celebration that it comes traditionally from the Mexican culture, and basically it's a celebration to celebrate those that have left this world.
Midterm elections are only 4 days away, and our very own Brenden M gives us a breakdown on some of the candidates.
Some call it a political chess move. Others call it a national security concern. Find out more about the migrant caravan when we come back.
Halloween was just a couple of days ago, and a certain scandal is making headlines and starting conversation on what's an appropriate costume. Megan Luloff, a first grade teacher at Walcott Elementary in Iowa, was reportedly seen at Boo's Bash Halloween party wearing blackface. She came with friends all dressed as the cast from Napoleon Dynamite. Megan took an attempt to an African-American character by covering herself with black makeup. After many reports, the school district is taking this incident serious, and her judgment and presence in the classroom are all being questioned by higher authority. It's undetermined now whether or not Megan Luloff will be dismissed from Walcott Elementary.
Fleeing unrest, migrants from Honduras, Venezuela, and other Central American countries are marching into Mexico as they seek asylum in the United States. This comes as Donald Trump announces the deployment of up to 15,000 troops to the border. Trump threatened the building of a tent city to house those asylum-seeking migrants. Trump posted a political attack video Wednesday on Twitter, claiming Democrats were responsible for the migrants' march. After a particularly brutal election cycle, Brazil has elected a new president. Former Army Captain Jair Bolsonaro took home the nomination against Fernando Haddad in a runoff election in Brazil on Sunday. Bolsonaro was able to obtain over 55% of the vote despite large-scale protests and marches against him in the last few months. Bolsonaro was criticized for his pro-gun stances and populist political agenda. Despite this, Bolsonaro pledged to be tough on political corruption and crime, giving him massive support amongst young people and the upper class. Donald Trump showed his support for Brazil's president-elect on Twitter, tweeting that Brazil made an excellent call. Bolsonaro will start his term on January 1st.
On October 22nd, top Democrats such as Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama received pipe bomb threats through the mail that were sent by Florida man Cesar Sayak, a registered Republican with a felony background. The suspect had planned attack since July. It is being announced as a domestic terrorist attack at targeting at least 15 victims that are all Democratic political figures. The packages were reportedly made but caused a shockwave across the country. The Trump administration has decided to investigate deeper into the situation. Trump appeared publicly to deliver a speech to say, and I quote, "The safety of the American people is my highest and absolute priority," after mentioning he felt his political party was being attacked for this incident.
Welcome you back here to the Met Report. We're going to go over the next 48 hours here with you. A lot to talk about in this forecast, as you can see as I start rolling through this. The snow here, look at this timestamp. Friday at 11 p.m., that snow just kicks up all along the I-70 corridor. And you'll notice it'll progress all the way into your Saturday night. 6 to 12 inches is expected in the mountains. And then you'll notice we don't clear out until Saturday evening. Again, as we roll through this, Sunday, it's going to start right back up. 6 to 12 inches, just a reminder, if you're headed up there, keep that in mind. So for tomorrow's high, 52, partly cloudy, and you'll have a wind out of the north-northwest at 19 miles per hour. Now, just a little friendly reminder, we are going to be falling back here on November 4th, which is Sunday. At 2 a.m., you'll get an extra hour of sleep. I'm sure that'll be nice for you. So 7-day forecast, quite a bit's happening here. Monday and Wednesday are the best chances for rain in the city. Obviously, Saturday is the best chances for snow up there in the mountains. Now, photo of the week comes from Yahaira Hernandez out of Estes Park, Colorado. Now, if you have any cool photos like this or videos for us, please send it our way. We really appreciate it on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We always like hearing from you guys.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Power dynamics in Ethiopia are changing. Ethiopia is celebrating the election of a new president. This week, Sahle Work Zewde was appointed president by Ethiopian lawmakers.
This news makes history as the appointment means Sahle Work will serve as the Ethiopians' first female president.
Her appointment as president comes 1 week after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed created a cabinet with the intention that half the posts be filled by women.
President Sahle Work has put gender equality as a priority in Ethiopia.
Briante Dunn, a former Ohio State football player, was found not guilty on 2 accounts of rape and kidnapping charges. Reports say Dunn was picked up by a young lady and brought back to her house to wait for an Uber when the alleged event occurred. The Buckeyes cut the wide receiver in 2015 because the allegation violated team rules. After being found not guilty, Dunn hopes this repairs his reputation, and Dunn is happy to pick up back on his academic career and is still hopeful for a future in football.
Soccer gyms, brother.
Welcome back. I'm Brenden M. Well, it's almost here. It's the final Friday before Election Day, which is this Tuesday. Hopefully you're already doing your research on the issues at stake in this year's election. Today, I'll help you along and quickly take you through a couple of the more polarizing issues. First up is Amendment 74. Amendment 74 asks whether we should add some language into the Colorado Constitution that would require the state to pay fair market value for any property taken or impacted by a new law. Wording is as follows. Private property shall not be taken or damaged or reduced in fair market value by government law or regulation for the public or private use without just compensation. Now, Oregon passed a similar law in 2004, and property owners filed over 6,000 lawsuits demanding $10.5 billion in fair market value compensation. 3 years later, voters overturned the law. Now, opponents say the same thing will happen here in Colorado if Amendment 74 passes. Those in favor of the measure say it strengthens property rights when government oversteps its boundaries, as well as allows owners to install drilling and fracking sites on their property, even if Prop 112 were to pass. Now, speaking of Proposition 112, let's talk a little bit more about that. We've certainly all seen the commercials and maybe even people holding signs above the highway telling you to vote no, but what exactly is Proposition 112? Proposition 112 asks voters if they want to impose a tougher setback on new drilling and fracking sites. Current setbacks are 1,000 feet from schools and other high occupancy buildings, 500 feet from homes, and 350 feet from playgrounds. Prop 112 would extend the setbacks to 2,500 feet from schools, high occupancy buildings, houses, playgrounds, and any other areas designated as vulnerable, such as rivers and hospitals. Now, opponents argue that this would make about 85% of non-federally owned land in Colorado off limits to new oil and gas drilling. Opponents also claim that the state could lose up to 150,000 jobs as well as $258 million in taxes next year. Those in favor of the proposition assert that the health effects of living near drilling and fracking sites are unknown, and therefore sites should not be put up right next to schools and homes. Finally, with Election Day right around the corner, here are where the gubernatorial candidates stand on three key issues: education, energy, and healthcare. First up, the Democrat Jared Polis. The first topic we'll cover is education. As governor, Polis would create the Colorado Universal Preschool Program, or CUP, that would provide state funding for any parent who wants their child in preschool. He also wants to make full-day kindergarten funding available to every child, regardless of their social class. Furthermore, Polis wants to encourage universities to move towards open-source textbooks and 3-year degree programs, all with the intent of saving Colorado college students money. Now, energy. As a longtime critic of the oil and gas industry, Polis would offer incentives to move to cleaner and more efficient resources. And in fact, he said he wants Colorado on 100% renewable energy by 2040. When asked about a carbon tax at the most recent gubernatorial debate, he said he would support a tax on big polluters if it meant decreasing taxes for everyday citizens. Polis also supports Governor Hickenlooper's plans to adopt stricter California-like auto emission standards. Now, healthcare. Jared Polis wants to start a multi-state single-payer healthcare system, claiming this will reduce prices, expand coverage, and improve the quality of care. His decision to work with other Western states, according to Polis, will keep costs lower than if Colorado were to attempt a single-payer option by itself. Polis also wants to mandate family and medical leave for employees, protect alternative medicines like kratom and marijuana, and allow cities room to experiment with ways to help people who are addicted to opioids. Walker Stapleton. We begin with education. He supports creating a back-to-school tax holiday on items like school supplies and clothing. He also wants to allow families to open a tax-free education savings account that can be used for any education-related expense, such as tutors. He also wants to ensure state money is being spent on classrooms and teachers, not administration. When it comes to energy, like Polis, Stapleton opposes Prop 112, but that's where the similarities end. Stapleton is also opposed to any kind of carbon tax, as well as stricter emission standards. He does, however, support the expansion of renewable energy, but does not believe it should be done through mandates and subsidies. Finally, healthcare. Contrary to some rumors going around, Stapleton does in fact support the ACA and would not kick people off Medicaid who are currently eligible. A big part of Stapleton's plan is bringing in Medicaid spending under control. As also part of his plan, he wants to make mental health a bigger part of primary care and to seek federal permission to offer bare-bones plans which cover only catastrophic events. However, any new plans must cover pre-existing conditions, allow children to stay on their parents' plans, and have maternity care options. Remember, no matter who you vote for, or no matter what you vote for, it is important to vote and have your voice heard. For the Met Report, I'm Brenden M. EMET is next.
million dumb ways to die. Don't let it be around buses and trains. Be safe around buses and trains. A message from RTD.
So many dumb ways to die.
I'm Derrel here with the EMET report. Now, Olympic snowboarder Shaun White has found himself in a bit of hot water over his Halloween costume this year. In an Instagram post, which has since been deleted, Shaun White showed off his costume of Simple Jack, a character from the movie Tropic Thunder. In the movie, Simple Jack is a mentally disabled individual. The Special Olympics spearheaded the outrage, with co-founder Soren Palumbo saying the costume was, quote, offensive and causes so much pain, end quote. Now, the plot thickens as the original actor of the character, Ben Stiller, has come to the snowboarder's defense, saying the Tropic Thunder was boycotted 10 years ago when it came out, and he apologized then. He stands by his apology, the movie, Shaun White, and the great people and work of the Special Olympics. Some very good news came from Netflix a couple of days ago. They dropped the trailer for their new 6-part documentary all about the good boys. Dogs is coming to Netflix on November 16th. And this series shares the story of 6 especially good boys and girls to highlight the love and importance people have with their dogs. The series shares stories from Syria, Costa Rica, Italy, Japan, and the United States, with dog owners from all walks of life, from groomers to fishermen. Amy Berg, the co-founder or co-producer of the series, had this to say: in times of division, volatility, and confusion, Dogs is an emotional palate cleanse. Watching the show offers salve for the spirit and reminds us of the redemptive power of love. Again, log into Netflix on November 16th to give it a watch. Red Dead Redemption 2 has released on October 26th on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The game's developers, Rockstar, has announced that this Western action-adventure game now brags the biggest opening weekend in all of entertainment. In just its 3 opening days, the game pulled in over $725 million in worldwide retail sales. This beats out the Avengers Infinity Wars, which made $640 million in its opening weekend. The game has been well received by players and critics alike, boasting the highest ever pre-orders and being the highest critically acclaimed reviewed game on the PlayStation 4. Red Dead Redemption has shot the sheriff, our wallets, but especially our hearts.
The women's basketball team will be playing their first exhibition matchup Monday night against Taylor University. The Roadrunners finished last season with one of the best records in recent years, as they finished last year with a 23-9 record. The women's soccer team was in action this past Tuesday. They kept it close with Dixie State as the Roadrunners scored late in the game, but they just couldn't overcome the Trailblazers as they lost the match 2-1 in the RMAC tournament. With this loss, the Roadrunners await to see if their season will continue, but if not, they play the last game of the season. If Tuesday's match was the last one for the women's team, they will finish with the best record since 2014. The volleyball team looks to finish the regular season strong. It will be in action tonight against Chadron State. It's senior night for the ladies, and they look to finish the last regular season game at home strong. Last night, they made it look easy as they swept past RMAC rivals Chadron State. Tonight, they look to do the same as they will be playing the Eagles for the second straight night. As of now, the Roadrunners hold an 18-8 record overall and look to win their 15th game in the RMAC this season. The men's soccer team was in action this past Tuesday against Colorado Mesa in the first round of the RMAC tournament. The Roadrunners were defeated by the Mavericks earlier in the season. MSU Denver couldn't get anything going in the match and did not get on the board once. With the loss in the RMAC tournament, the men's soccer team season came to an end as they finished the season 9-10 overall. With the season coming to an end, here are some thoughts on the last game as for the senior Roadrunners.
Mixing with some of the guys, you know, we still did well and we got far.
There's been ups and downs. It's definitely made me a better person.
It's been awesome. I wouldn't trade it for any experience I've had in the world.
Well, guys, it was the last game for the men's soccer team.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true.
But you know what else is coming to an end? The midterm cycle. Finally, Election Day is this Tuesday. How's the weather going to be on Election Day, Nathaniel?
Yeah, so weather is going to be very interesting actually this week. As you can see, Monday is our best chance for any kind of rain or snow out there. Just keep in mind that there is going to be 6 to 12 inches heading into this weekend. Winter weather advisory as well if you're headed up to the high country by chance.
Well, guys, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have today. Don't forget to tune in every Friday on Comcast Channel 20 and Campus Channel 58.
And remember to follow us via social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and at mymetmedia.com.
And get out and vote.